When the lights are off, the crowd is gone, and no one is watching. Who are you really? That moment alone, unacknowledged, unseen, is where your real character is forged. In the silence, in the solitude, you either break or build. It is in these hidden hours that greatness is born, not under the spotlight, but behind closed doors. And most people never stay there long enough to find out who they are. Today, we're going deep into the power of the silent forge, what you choose to do when no one is watching, and why it is the ultimate separator between the average and the extraordinary. We live in a world obsessed with outcomes. Highlight reels, applause, recognition, but public success is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath it lies the hard, often boring, uncelebrated work. The grind when no one's clapping, the small choices when no one's grading. Silent forge is where that hidden 90% happens. Think of every Olympic athlete, best-selling author, successful entrepreneur. What you see is the polished version, the end result. What you don't see are the early mornings they didn't feel like waking up. The weekends sacrificed, the missed parties, the lonely nights, the repeated failures, the quiet consistency. Success is not an event. It's a pattern of invisible decisions. Here's the truth. Your identity is built in silence. Not when you're performing for others, but when there's no audience, no affirmation, no external reward. It's the decision to go for that run when it's raining. To study one more chapter when your brain is tired. To say no to distractions when there's no one there to praise your discipline. These moments form the foundation of your integrity. Because if you only act right when someone's watching, it's not discipline, it's performance. It's theater. Real strength comes from choosing to live aligned with your values, especially when no one else will ever know. The silent forge is repetitive, it's monotonous, it's unglamorous. But that's where the magic happens. Repetition trains your brain to normalize greatness. It's not about motivation, it's about patterning. Sculptor doesn't create with one strike of the hammer. It's thousands of taps, over time with care. High performers repeat their core behaviors daily, not because they feel like it, but because they've trained themselves to commit to the process. They know that what they do daily will either elevate or eliminate them. Define your core values. When no one's around, you need something stronger than motivation. You need principle. Decide who you are before the world tells you who to be. Is it honesty, discipline, growth, excellence? Write them down. Live by them, even when no one's watching. Create invisible routines. Most people only act when there's an audience. Flip that. Build rituals that are hidden. Morning journaling, evening reading, stretching before bed, meditation. These invisible anchors create visible impact. Measure effort, not attention. Stop waiting for praise. Stop seeking permission. Focus on effort, not feedback. Growth doesn't always feel good, but it's always worth it. Fall in love with boring. The best athletes, artists, and thinkers learn to embrace the mundane. If you can fall in love with the silence, with the solitude, you'll never be dependent on hype. You'll learn to grow without needing validation. Why is it so hard to stay consistent when no one's watching? Because humans are wired for validation. We want confirmation we're on the right track. But the paradox is this: your most meaningful growth happens before the validation shows up. That moment when you choose to train, to work, to improve, even when no one will ever know you did it, that is power. It means your source of worth is internal, not external. Once you flip that switch, you become unstoppable. You're no longer held hostage by the opinions of others. You're driven by your mission, not applause. Every time you keep a promise to yourself in private, you build trust. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. It's not bravado. It's not noise. It's a quiet knowing that you will show up when it matters, especially when no one is keeping score. This is why the silent forge is so essential. When you build in silence, you rise in strength. When you do the work, when it's unseen, you carry an invisible power that doesn't need to be proven. People feel it. You walk differently, speak with calm certainty. You move with purpose. It's not because you're trying to impress, but because you've already impressed yourself. Consider Kobe Bryant. While others were still asleep, he was in the gym at 4 a.m. working on free throws. Not for the camera, not for social media, for himself. That's the silent forge. Look at J.K. Rowling. Years of rejection, just writing in with her child beside her. No fans, no book deals. Just commitment to the work. That's the silent forge. Or think of the entrepreneur building in their garage. The student staying after class to master a subject. Parents sacrificing personal time to give their child a better life. The silent forge isn't reserved for the famous. It's for the focused. One of the greatest obstacles to growth is the belief that you need to be seen to be successful. That's a lie. The real work happens when no one's paying attention. If you only move when there's a spotlight, you're not building discipline, you're chasing dopamine. That's short term. It's fragile. But if you can rise in the quiet, act without applause, and move without permission, you're dangerous. Because you're not dependent on the outside, you've become your own fuel source. Every time you act in alignment with your values when no one is around, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You become honest by telling the truth when it would be easier to lie. You become strong by choosing discipline when laziness tempts you. You become wise by seeking learning when entertainment is more fun. And you become extraordinary by training your mind and body to do what needs to be done without needing a reward, a retweet, or a round of applause. The silent forge is not a place, it's a mindset. It's available to you right now, right after this video ends, right in the next decision you make, right in that moment when it's easier to quit, but you don't. That's the fire. That's where your real self is forged. No one will see it at first, but one day they will wonder where your strength came from. They'll ask how you got so focused, so relentless, so clear. They'll see the result, but they'll never fully understand the forge, because only you will know what it took. And that's exactly the way it should be. So what will you do when no one's watching? Will you break or will you build? The silent forge is waiting. Step inside, because your future is not built in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows. And the world won't understand the fire you carry until they see what it made of you.